Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kanye. Yes, we are moving along with the bits and pieces of this puzzle. We're moving along with this true gospel. Yes, I think on the previous one, I've mentioned that how I ended up in PE, being raised by my uncle and his wife. And I don't remember mentioning that I was 9 months old. Yes, I was 9 months old at that time. Yes, first things first, please subscribe so that you won't miss on the new videos. Make sure that you click on the bell that you'll see on your screen so that you'll get notification. Subscription is free of charge. You're not going to pay for it. Okay. Now the girl is 9 months old, growing up and growing up. I don't want to lie. Growing up, being the only child, is the nicest thing because I was the youngest. Yeah, there was my sister, as I said, and there were other cousins who would come here and there. But from my mother's family, I knew my grandfather and my grandmother. They will often come. So I know them as my grandmother, but I was not aware of the story behind. They will always come. Apparently, they were getting paid their pension in PE, which it was a republic, I think, at that time. So since we were staying in, or they were staying in Ciskei, so the pension was paid after 3 months. Yes, after 3 months. So just imagine people who have to wait for that long in order to get the pension. So my grandparents decided to get their pension in PE so that they would get earned monthly. So every month I will see them as I grow up. I have pictures with my grandfather. What a handsome somebody. So yes, I grew up in a Christian home. My father was a pastor. He died. He has his own church. By the time he died, 2014, he was an apostle. Yes. So I grew up in that religious Christianity home, and very strict but loving. What I know in life, you would not notice anything until you hear something. So for as long as I grew up, I know them as my parents. Nothing else. I know this as my grandmother, my grandfather, my sister. Yes, until one day, the mother who was living opposite my house, literally opposite, if you get out of the door, you see her house. I won't mention her name, but I'm sure that her children wouldn't mind. But just to be on the safer side, I won't mention her name. So she used to drink a lot. She used to drink a lot to such an extent. When she is drunk, she will swear to the first person that she sees in the street. So everyone in my street where I grew up, when you hear her singing in front of her house, hearing that she's drunk, no one wants to get out, because the first person she sees, okay, we as kids, we were lucky because she wouldn't dare swear at us. She doesn't have our she doesn't have our history, so there's nothing we as kids, we wouldn't worry. But any adult, literally any adult that she first sees with her eyes, she's gonna sing about him or her the whole day. My parents were not restricted from that, being the respected Christian in that area. My father was a Christian. My father was a healer. He was a prayer. He would pray and heal people. He will heal people and people to such an extent, even if someone is burnt by water, hot water or fire, they will rashly quick take him to my father instead of taking him to the clinic or hospital. That's how powerful he was. So, no, there was no filter with that woman. She will swear if she saw him first, it's his day. I mean, the whole day. She will call you by your name and she will sing all your things. She will be like singing. Literally, the whole day. That was a situation I grew up around. Being from the Christian holy house and exposed to such a neighborhood. But I grew up anyway. So this particular day, both my parents were not at home. Okay, before I go there, I was a naughty child. I think I must say that. And just a small disclaimer. I will not leave any stones unturned pertaining to my life. I will turn any stone, no matter how ugly or bitter it is. I will turn all the stones. So I must say, like any child, I was naughty. They used to beat me up. Both my parents, they used to beat me up, and I saw nothing wrong with that, because other kids, they were beaten as well. But for me, since I was the only child, so you'll be beaten up for not coming home on time till it's dark. Remember, at that time there was no electricity. So it's your responsibility to clean the glasses of the lamps. We were using the paraffin lamps where there's a lamp and the glass on top. So those glasses will tend to get dirty. So before you turn on or you light the lamps, you must first clean the glasses so that it can be clear. Put the paraffin on the lamps, etc. So I would play. I love to play. I would play to such an extent. I would leave my shoes on the street and come back home barefooted. The next day I want my shoes. I don't know them. I left them on the street, So yes, I will be beaten up for such things of coming home late, of not turning on the lights, and it should be like when you come home and you see there's light and like, sometimes I will see sometimes when I come, I will see the stick to beat me up sitting there. So I will sneak in and steal it and bring it because I know it's waiting for me. So I think that woman was annoyed of that. In her mind, she was aware that this child is not theirs. How can they beat the child so much? For me, now when I look back, it was not much. It was not unnecessary. There are instances, and I will highlight. I will highlight those as I go along. I was beaten up several times for nothing. Even today, when I look back, I was like, that was really unnecessary. But as for my mother and father who raised me, that was all necessary. I deserved that in order to know between the right and wrong, because I would always come late and not turn on the lights. As a young girl, you are trained to be a good wife. So sometimes I would even dodge to go to church. I would go and play. There's that thing called Unjika, which we play. I'll go and play. I forgot that. They were attending church like no one's business, especially during the week. On Sundays, you can't escape. You wake up, you bath, you go to church. But during the week, there are those church services that they attend. So sometimes I'll disappear and go and play. Of course, when I come back, I have to pay the consequences of my actions. Okay, so now this woman, she took me this particular day. There was no one in the house. I think I was left alone. I believe I was older enough to be in my own, but most of the time I was playing. I was a playful child. I was always playing on the street. So she took me and she said, let's go. We first went down. There was when they started these informal things, but that one was a kind of a formal. It was called Silver Town. So those houses were built by the zinc, even the body of the house and the roof, everything was shiny. So hence it was called Silver Town. So she first took me to Silver Town. There was my uncle, which is the third born from my father. I will forever call him my father. He is my father. So this woman took me there. And I think we did not find anyone. And she told me, this is your real family. That one is not your family. And I was so confused and shocked. We took a taxi. She took me to Zwide, where my second uncle, which is the second born from my father is the eldest. So that one came after my father was living. And she introduced me there, tell them that this is your uncle, your real uncle. Your mother is so and so. She is where and where. And I come back so confused. When I come back, I had to tell my parents what happened. I had to tell them that we went there and there and there. We went to a couple of places. And I think everyone, she knows that was related to me. She went and introduced me and tell me about them. So when I went home, tell my parents what happened, they were literally angry. I believe it was not time yet for me to be told that. Yes, I believe it was not the right time for me to know all that information. So they literally went to her house and beat her up until her all teeth were out. Literally, the way they were so angry. I think I was 9, 10, I can't remember. I really can't work my mind that hard and think of the ages. But I was young. I was very young. 8, 9, 10, around there. But I still believe that I was not in the right age to know that information. However, she told me. And then they had no choice but to tell me how did I ended up in PE. And so my previous video, I mentioned how I ended up in PE. So yeah, I don't want to make long videos. That's it for now. We will continue right along, slowly but surely. Please make sure that you share this. If you feel inspired, the more juicy and sad of this is still to come. And I'm praying God to give me power, wisdom to just do it fluently, to just do it right. And yes, so thank you for watching. Subscribe, please share, like, comment down below, and ask any question regarding for what I have said for now, then I'll be able to answer those that I can. Thank you so much. I love you.